Hello, welcome to Bumble Stitches episode 42. My name's Nicola and this is my little podcast about knitting and other crafty things that I might get up to, and it's really good to be back. Today is Sunday the 24th of November and it's been quite a while since I podcast. I did mean to podcast a couple of weekends ago, but then very inconveniently came down with a flu-y, virusy cold type thing, which pretty much knocked me off my feet for a few days. And although I'm much better than I was, I still feel a little bit groggy, and I'm hoping not to cough too much during the episode, but if I do, I'll cut that out because nobody wants to listen to somebody coughing away on YouTube, do they? Right, so I hope you've all been well and that you haven't had all the nasty germs in your houses, but I think it is pretty much doing the rounds. But there is lots to catch up on today, and I'll just quickly mention that you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Bumble Stitches if you want to find me there, and on Ravelry we do have a podcast group, so please feel free to pop over and join us there. So what's been happening with me apart from being ill? Lots of work. I'm working on a new project at work at the moment, and that is taking up a huge amount of my time. Lots of travelling as usual, and lots of extra work, so that has really eaten a lot into time for doing other things really. And of course by the weekend and the evenings you're just tired, aren't you, when you're at work all day, and then you want to do crafty things, but by the time you get household things done, we've still got to eat, family still want feeding, and you still have to do the housework and everything else that running a house entails. It doesn't really leave a lot of time. So yeah, I've been feeling a little bit miffed about that really, things daring to get in the way of my crafting time. But I have got a few things to show you today, and I've got my notes down here on the table in front of me. I feel a little bit like a newsreader today, I don't know why. I'm actually getting on with the new glasses better. I mentioned on the last podcast I've just got these new glasses which are varifocals, and yeah, it's a lot better than it was. It's still not ideal. I have got a second pair for using at my desktop computer, but for day-to-day use they seem to be, well, I've got used to them, not they've got used to me. So yeah, that's a plus point. So if I keep looking down, it's because I've got my notes on the desk here. So I have been to a couple of events since I spoke to you all last. One was the Knitting and Stitching Show at Alexandra Palace, or Ali Pally, in North London. I went along with my mum and my auntie and her friend, so that was really nice to do. We had a really good day. It was very busy and we were exhausted afterwards, and well, that's a whole nother story. The traffic leaving there was, I think we did about 3 miles in about 2 hours leaving London on a Thursday afternoon. I should have known better really, but we did have a good day and I got some lovely things, so I will share those with you later in acquisitions. I also popped along to the I think it was called the Autumn Quilt Show at Duxford in Cambridgeshire, where they have the Imperial War Museum specialising in all the aircraft, and there was the quilting show there, and I really enjoyed that. I'm trying to get a little bit more into sort of quilting and sewing, and there were some lovely things there which I'll show you as well a little bit later. But other than that, I'm trying to clear the decks a little bit, because it has been a while since I podcast, and if you are a podcaster yourself, you know that you hang on to things and don't put them away until you've shown them on the podcast, and I need to really get the decks cleared because it is vastly, it's very quickly approaching Christmas and December, and I am planning to do Vlogmas this year. I don't know how good it's going to be because I'm not really a vlogger. I've only ever done this podcast, but Vlogmas is one of my absolute favourite things about the community. I love watching everybody else's Vlogmases, and I thought I'd like to have a little go this year. So I'll talk a little bit more about it later in the episode. Shall we have a look at what I've been up to? I'll show you a couple of finished objects. First thing I want to show you is my finished little cabin sweater, and this is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter, and I was knitting this as part, the colour is not really showing true on the screen. I'll try and put it a little bit closer. Yeah, that's a little bit truer there. It's like a golden, it's more goldeny, sort of toffee colour. It's got a bit of a green cast on the screen there. But yeah, this is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter. If you're a long-term viewer, you will have seen this before several times. It had a bit of a false start. I started knitting it, realised it was going to be too small, ripped it all back. In fact, I did the whole of the body. It's knitted bottom up. I did the whole of the body up to here and ripped the whole thing out and did it again. So it does fit now, and I'm really, really pleased I've got it off the needles. These bobbles, as you can see, all over the sleeves, all over the body, and all over the back. They are all the way, they're everywhere apart from on the yoke, basically. And if you've knit this or something similar, you will know that when you get to the end of those bobbles, it is a huge sigh of relief. And this row here, where you join the body and sleeves onto the yoke, is a bobble every other stitch, and that seemed to take absolutely forever to do. So as I sort of alluded to there, you knit it's all knit from the bottom up. So you start with the little cabins at the bottom and knit the body up. Sleeves are the same with the little cabin pattern at the bottom there. And then you join it all with the never-ending row of bobbles onto the yoke, which is just done in garter stitch. Now, when I finished this, as I was knitting it, it did seem that the yoke was a little bit on the large side, and obviously garter stitch has got quite a lot of stretch and give in it anyway, and it is a little bit on the big side, but it's fine, and I certainly wasn't going to rip it out again. But I would certainly recommend anybody that was thinking about knitting this pattern. I mean, it's a fab pattern. I really, really love it, and it looks nice. It looks really nice on with jeans and boots. It's a really nice sort of like going outside sweater. I don't think you'd want to wear it in the house unless you were a very cold, unless you run as a really cold person or you had a very chilly, drafty house. But it's more of what I would call an over jumper. But I would suggest that you knit the yoke on a smaller needle, or even go down a size, follow the instructions. Once you'd picked up and got all your stitches on, I would then decrease down to the size smaller than you were actually knitting, because it is a little bit disproportionate, I think is the best way to describe it. But it's done. It's been a long time in the making. I thought I was going to run out of yarn, but as it turned out, I actually had 3 balls left over, and I knit it in this, which is the Debbie Bliss Donegal Luxury Tweed Aran. And I've got 3 full balls of this left. So I think I might knit a hat for Lulu. That'll probably take, 1.5, maybe 2 to use that up, because she absolutely adores this colour. So I think I might be doing that for her. So that's finished object, finally, the little cabin sweater by Caitlin Hunter. And that was one of my entries, if you like, for my own knit along, which is the Boyland along, which I do have all the winners to announce in a little while for you. So if you took part, finally I will be getting around to announcing the winners. So there we are. That's a finished object. Got to find homes for all these things now. Okay, forgive me. I really don't want to start coughing, so I'm just going to try and keep the throat lubricated. Next finished object I'd like to show you is the Alpine Hat. And this is a pattern by Mrs. Moon, and it's a pattern that's available on Ravelry and also on the Mrs. Moon website, and it's knit in their plump DK yarns. And I can try and remember the colourway names. I think this one is Darjeeling. This one I think is Fondant, the pink one here, and the green I think is Peppermint. But it's a really lovely squishy yarn. It's all stranded colour work. If I turn it inside out, as you can see, It's all stranded colour work inside. And I originally knit this for Lulu because she really liked the yarn and she liked the pattern, and she said, could I knit it for her? So I thought I'd do it for her, and then she could have it as part of her Christmas presents. And I've got this gorgeous Toft alpaca pom-pom to go on, and this lovely pink, which has got the really great idea of the just the little popper that you can sew on, so you can take the pom-pom off and on. So yeah, this was for my daughter Lulu, and I was really pleased with how it knitted up. Thought it might be a little bit on the big side for her because she's quite petite, but then I blocked it and it just seemed to grow exponentially, and it's now too big for her. And I could, in theory, I suppose if it was washed and tumble dried, it might shrink in a bit. I don't think it's a superwash yarn. Of course, it might then just shrink ridiculously, but I don't have a tumble dryer anyway, so I think what I'm going to do is keep this for myself because it fits me. Should I put it on and show you? My hair's going to go crazy. I thought I'd be all fancy today and curl my hair for the podcast, but all that resulted in was me burning my head with the curling tongs and my finger. So I'm going to pop this on and I'll show you how it looks. So you can see I've got quite a big head, and it's actually quite big, you know, it's quite roomy, but I think by the time we get the pom on the top, yeah, it's a cute hat. It's really nice. I like the design. I love the yarn. I'm going to take this off and have the hat hair now, aren't I? But it's going to be way too big. If I put this on Lou, if she put it on, it would literally come down over her eyes. You wouldn't be able to see her face at all. So yeah, it's a little bit of a fail on my part. I should have not blocked it because it was okay, but I just wanted to finish it off nicely. And of course, at some point in the future, it's going to need washing, so it's just a case of sooner rather than later, isn't it? But I think if I go for something in this, because she does really, really like this yarn, I might do a cabled hat and put a nice black fluffy pom-pom on it, because that would look really nice anyway. So it's another finished object. It was going to be a Christmas gift, but it's now a gift for me. So, and there is another finished object as well. So I'm really pleased to have got my love note, which is by Tin Can Knits, and this is a very, very popular sweater pattern. I've seen so many of these on Ravelry and on Instagram. It's no wonder it's so popular. It's such a quick and easy and fun knit. It really is. And the finished item itself is just gorgeous. So you can see the lace work here. So it's knit from the top down. You start off with a provisional cast on and knit. So you start off with a provisional cast on here, do short rows to shape the around the neck so the back is higher, and then you go into this gorgeous lace work which goes all the way around for the yoke. And there's a tiny little bit of raglan shaping, which is just here. And then you split for the sleeves and knit down. I decided on the cropped version with the high-low hem, and I did a 3/4 length sleeve, and it knits up so quickly. And then when you're complete, you go back and pick up your stitches from your provisional cast on and knit your rib for your neck, so then you know exactly how it's going to sit. I think it just is a good way to make sure you get the right sort of, because the neckline can really sort of make or break a sweater, can't it? So really love this. I've worn it a couple of times. It's super cozy, but it's really light as well. It doesn't take up too much yarn. So I knitted mine it's knitted with 2 yarns held together. So I used Malabrigo sock in the colour Sandbank, which is 131, and I held that together with a Drops Kid Silk mohair. And has this got a colourway name on it? It's colour 01, and it's literally like, looks like an undyed or like a creamy sort of off-white. And you can see it's resulted in this lovely sort of mulled, fluffy gorgeousness. So that is the Love Note sweater. And I think I'm going to knit another one of these. I have got mohair and fingering weight in my stash that I could knit another one. Because I think that this, I'm trying to think what size I knitted. It's on it'll be on my Ravelry page. But I think it took just fractionally over 2 skeins of the Malabrigo sock yarn, and I think it was about 3 of those little drops mohair skeins. So it's a good way of getting a garment out of not a lot of yarn, and it's so pretty. I think I fancy doing one in a deep burgundy red, which I've got in my stash. So that's the Love Note from Tin Can Knits. That's all the finished objects for this episode. Righty ho. I've got quite a few whips going on at the moment, more than I intended to have. I did plan to just put a stop on all my sort of personal, like selfish knitting and just concentrate on gift knitting. But things creep in, don't they? Things catch your eye and you just can't resist a little cheeky cast on. So that has happened, and I'm going to grab the basket because I've got them all in my basket. The famous basket of whips, which never seems to go down. And we'll have a little look and see what I've got on the go at the moment. A couple of them are gift knits, so I'm going to put those to one side. We'll talk about those separately. Just bear with me while I rummage through the basket. Okay, so the first project, let's start with what's in front of me. So this is in my beautiful Elderflower Stitches project bag from Susie, and it's absolutely stunning. It's got the, I think it's a Liberty fabric. It's got the pale pinky peach snowdrops on, canvas bottom, this gorgeous rose gold keyring fob here, which you can put stitch markers and things on, and inside it's got lots of pockets for all your bits and pieces. Really pretty, so beautifully made. And what I really like about it is it's got a completely circular bottom, so it's not like a box bottom that a lot of project bags are. So fabulous, highly recommended. If you fancy a new project bag, then go and check out Susie's Etsy shop or go on her Instagram. She's Elderflower Stitches. So in here I have got my very first Stephen West project. I've always been a bit scared of Stephen West, if I'm honest. Not him as a person, but the patterns, because they're always very bold and bright and a little bit out of the box, and I think, oh, really admire the sort of the technical side of, the skills and the ideas that he has and the constructions, but think, is it something I would really use? So the latest mystery knit along that he's done is the Starflake shawl, and I was watching progress of it on Instagram and seeing people's, after each week that a clue had been released, seeing what they were doing, and I was still a little bit on the fence. What swayed it for me was seeing Ellie of Craft House Magic. She was knitting one, and I think it's because of the colour choices, and I think it's probably the same for a lot of Stephen West's patterns and his designs, that if you go all out with the the brighter bold colours and neons and things like that, you're going to get a completely different result than if you go for a softer or a less bright colour palette. So I have chosen, let me just show you my progress, and this is a bit bunched up on the needle, so I'm going to try, I need to find a longer cable. So I've done section 1, which starts off with the star in the middle, and this bright pink stitch here I find really irritating because it stands out, but there you go. So you start off with these parallelograms in your 2 colours, and then you go on to, in section 1, just some sections of stockinette and garter stitch to form these stripes that follow the outline of the star. So this is all of section 1, that's all I've done. And I am absolutely loving it. The way his patterns are, you guys all know all this already. I'm so late to the party, it's unbelievable. But the way that his, there's a rogue hair. Does anybody else knit their hair into their knitting? This happens to me so much, and if you can't get it out at the right time when you see it, it almost becomes in there for good. Yeah, sorry, I just think the way the pattern's written is just brilliant. Really, really clear, good, easy to follow instructions, and I mean, obviously I've got the benefit of knowing what each section should look like because the mystery knit along is over now. But I should imagine even if you were knitting it as a complete mystery and you weren't, because you're not going to expect that when you start a shawl, are you? Let's face it, you're not going to expect to be knitting a star quite in that way with all the I-cord edges and so on. It's just so, so clever. And I'm absolutely loving it. Now the yarns that I'm using, I should have got the bands out. These are both from Amy at Stranded Dye Works. This one I know is her Shiner colourway. They're both on a, I think it's a 75-25 sort of sock, sort of merino nylon base. So this is Shiner, this colourway here, which is like a purpley grey. And this colourway I can't remember the name of. I'll have to fish out the ball bands, but this was actually part of a kit that I bought at Unravel about, well, it wasn't the last Unravel, it was the one before, so it wasn't, it would have been 2017, no, 2018. And I bought it as a kit to make the Timely cardigan by Libby Johnson, and it's been sitting in stash for such a long time, and I kind of, sometimes I think you sort of get over things, don't you? Something that you really desperately want, after a while you just think not really that fussed. So I was itching to do the Starflake and thought, well, I don't have, you need it, the pattern calls for 4 skeins of yarn, 2 of each of a main colour and a contrast colour. So this was absolutely perfect. It'd been sat in stash all that time. I thought it may as well become something rather than just taking up space. So I'm using the Shiner as my main colour and the colourway that I can't remember the name of as my contrast colour. And I think that it's, I mean, obviously they were in a kit to go together, so I can't take credit for putting the colours together, but I think it's working up really, really nicely. And I know that anything that's got some sort of grey base in it, I'm more likely to wear, you know, just wear as everyday knitwear rather than things that are, you know, a very strong colour. So it's working out really, really well, and I'm reluctantly putting this away now until after all the Christmas gift knitting's done. And I thought it was a good point to put it to bed after Clue 1 was finished, so I can just pick up with Clue 2, which I'm really excited to read, is a brioche section. And I think it gives you 2 sets of pattern instructions, so you can either do the next section as brioche or as garter. But I'm going to go for the brioche because I love the way brioche looks and I really love knitting it as well. So that will be something for probably for January. So we can say goodbye to Starflake and we can see it all in the new year. But I do absolutely love this project bag from Susie. Okay, so let's pop that down there. The next thing, there's not been a lot of progress on this, so I'm going to be really, really quick. This is living in my bag from Mrs. Brown's Bags from Jodie, and I've had this for absolute ages. I don't know if she even does this design anymore. And this is my Marley shawl, which is my brioche shawl by Andrea Mowry. That's got in a tangle. Oh, good grief. And this is the second one of this pattern that I'm knitting, which is a testament to how fab I think it is. So that's come on quite a way. I suppose it should be that way up, shouldn't it? So this is Marley. It's a really simple brioche design, as you can see. Brioche design, as you can see. So that's the right side, and here on the wrong side. And I'm using for this This is Sandbank, which is the Malabrigo yarn that I used in my love note, held with the mohair. And this is a Miss Babs skein that I was very lucky to get in a swap probably about 2.5 years ago. And it is a 4-ply fingering, superwash merino. It's a huge skein. This one actually had 560 yards on it. And the colourway is, if I can do it with one hand, Drunken Watermelon. I don't know if it's a repeatable colourway or, as I say, it was in a swap. But I just love these together. When I'm doing brioche, I really like that combination of a neutral and then something really fun in the background. I just think it sits really, really well. Again, this isn't getting much love at the moment because of other crafty commitments, but I'll be looking forward to getting that one back into sort of active circulation of knitting once I've got some other things done. Okay, there are quite a few of these WIPs, so hopefully I'm not going to bore you all to tears. The next one I have got in here, this is a new cast on. This is living in my lovely, I think these are called knot bags, and this is from Jilly Makes. Is that showing up? From Jilly Makes, and she's on Instagram and Etsy. And in here I have got my beautifully cosy snuggle down cowl, which is a pattern from Jules of So Sweet Violet. So I'm desperately trying to untangle this. So the light is shocking in here today. This is the pleasures of filming in November and December, isn't it? So I don't know if you can see, if I put it against the darkness there, you can see the halo on it. It's absolutely scrumptious. I'm loving knitting on this, and it's such a relaxing knit to just go round and round. You've got obviously the little stitch pattern there, but other than that, it's stockinette in the round. Absolutely perfect for catching up on all your favourite programmes like The Crown, which is back on Netflix. Absolutely love The Crown. And recently discovered, although it's been out for years, Peaky Blinders. Oh my goodness, where have I been? I love it. It's so, so good. Anyway, so this is the Snuggle Down Cowl, as I said, by Jules of So Sweet Violet. She's done her sample in, I think she used mini skeins to do like a gradient sort of fade, which looks super pretty. But I just wanted to use something I had in stash. I wanted to make something that was very wearable and usable for me. So I chose, and this is a very luxurious choice, these two skeins, which are from La Bien-Aimée. This one is Autumn at Rhinebeck, and this one is, I can't remember, so I'm going to have a look on the band. Okay, so yeah, this one is Autumn at Rhinebeck, which is a merino singles, and the mohair is called Parchment. It's a mohair silk, 70% mohair, 30% silk, and that's Parchment. And I've had those in stash for quite a while, and I'm, you know, I have bought and still do buy a lot of yarn, and most often just pop it in the shelves there behind me or into the cubbies below or all sorts of places and get them out and stroke them and admire them. But I thought, really need to start using some of these gorgeous skeins of yarn, because there's always more gorgeous yarn, isn't there? There seems to be a never-ending supply of beautiful yarns from commercial companies and obviously from all the fabulously talented indie dyers. So this is coming on really, really nicely. I'm just going to keep merrily knitting away on this, but again, it does need to take a little bit of a backseat while I get some gift commitments done. But I really like the way the yarns are playing together. Beautiful. So that's my Snuggle Down cowl, and I can see there being more of these in my future, and I think they also would make fabulous gift knits, because it's just really easy knitting, isn't it? Just to sit and, you know, watch TV programs, watch podcasts or whatever, just chill out, listen to an audio book. you get the picture. All those things that you can just sit and do when your knitting is nice and straightforward. Okay. There's nothing else in the basket. That means we're going in. Ah, there is one more thing over here. And these are so very nearly finished. I don't even know why I didn't finish them. These are living in my beautiful fox bag, which was a gift from Christina. Thank you, Christina. And I'm knitting some toe-up vanilla socks. I'll show you one that's already finished. If I do it that way. And I'm really favouring. I never used to do toe-up socks at all. I was a little bit scared of them, but since I knitted one of Jules' patterns, the Soul Sisters socks, I really love that sort of construction. So I just do the, I think it's the beanie toe she calls it, the Godet heel, which I think fits really well. And with this particular yarn, as you can see, look, I'm right at the, I'm on the rib of this sock. So for goodness sake, why didn't I just finish it? And do you see little Fox? He was on the bag from Christina. He is so cute. Yeah, so this yarn is from Yarn Badger. And it is a, it doesn't have a colourway name, it's just a gradient. It was two 50-gram balls, and it started out with the green at the centre of the ball, and then it wasn't balls, it was skeins, but I just balled it up. But yeah, and it just goes, fades through into the turquoise, into the blue, and then eventually out into the sort of purpley colour. So I don't like my socks too short, otherwise I'd get more of the purple, too long rather, otherwise they don't feel comfortable on me. But you can, you know, I could have got quite a lot more, because as you can see with this one, I'm on the rib, and there's quite a lot of yarn left. You could really keep going if you like your socks long. But I just thought it was a really nice way of getting a gradient effect on a sock without any sort of, you know, mixing in new yarns, sewing in ends and all the rest of it, because it's all in the skein for you. So those are all but done, and I'm very lazy. I should have just got them finished. I would have had another FO, but there you go. What we like. Sometimes I can do that and put that away for months and not finish it, which doesn't make any sense at all. But I'm sure I'm not the only one that does that. Okay, next. One of the gift knits I'm not going to show, just in case the recipients are watching. But this next gift knit is something that is known about. My mum came with me to the knitting and stitching show at Ali Pali, as I mentioned, and she's not a knitter, and I was really, really hoping that that might be the thing that tipped her over the edge and she would decide to do some knitting. She can knit, but she just doesn't, you know. But alas, no. But she did spy some a kit to make a shawl that she really fell in love with, and it was on the debonair stand. Excuse this being so crumpled. And it's this shimmer shawl, and you can see it's just an asymmetric triangle, really simple in garter stitch. And she loved it, and she bought the kit. So I was like, oh, she's going to knit. I was so excited. It's going to happen. Don't worry, Mum. It's really simple. It's garter. If you get stuck, I can help you. And, you know, if you really don't like doing it, you can give it to me and I'll finish it off and whatever. But no, she said, oh, could you knit it for me, please? So what could I do? So I'm going to show you the yarn first. The kit comprised two skeins. One is this one with lots of tiny little sequins on it, and the other one is this sort of lurex yarn. They're quite splitty, and having thought about it, it may not have been the best yarn to coax Mum back into knitting, because it is quite splitty, but it knits up beautifully. I'm going to attempt to hold this up without making it look like a dog's breakfast. So, and can you see how all the sequins are catching? And I'm just letting them fall. The way the yarn's constructed, you probably could fiddle about with the placement of the sequins, but I'm just letting them fall as they come on the skein. You can see it's just garter stitch. She's got a centre double decrease, which will start to move across to give you the asymmetric look. And it's a really nice knit. Again, it's just a really simple knit, great for watching TV. Really, really drapey, as you can see. It's such a drapey yarn. And because it was in a kit, it did, or did it have, I'm trying to see if it's got the, oh yeah, there's one of the, I think this one, the sequin one, was just caked up already, but this one here was in a skein. And this is a mulberry silk, shimmer silk it's called, mulberry silk with lurex, 50 grams, 250 meters, mixed greys. That's that one, and it's from Debonair. And Debonair, I seem to see them at almost every yarn show and festival that I go to, so they're quite what's the word, prolific in the, you know, the shows that they attend and exhibit at. So if you're in the UK, you've probably come across them. But these little kits are really, really good. They're great prezzy. We actually bought one for one of my other aunties who couldn't attend the show, in a rose gold, and that was stunning. But Mum likes her grey. She's a bit like me. She quite likes a bit grey. So we thought grey with a little bit of sparkle would be really, really pretty. So I'm hoping to get that done and give it to Mum round about Christmas or her birthday, which is the 23rd of December. So I need to crack on with that one. This is one, my projects have got to go to one side for the time being. And the other thing that I will share with you is just a really simple pair of socks. These are in my really cute Ollie and Bella bag, which is a gift from Cherie. And these are some vanilla latte socks, which I'm just about ready to put the heel into. Everything comes out in a huge tangle when you're podcasting. It's a very strange phenomena. Okay, so you can see these are just the vanilla latte, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. I've used it loads and loads of times. Great for gift knitting because it's, I don't know if you can see it there because the yarn's quite dark, but it's a rib, a simple sort of rib pattern. 64 stitches. These are for Justin's dad, for part of his Christmas present. And the yarn is from my friend Emma at Seren Yarns, and it's a 75-25 400 meters superwash. There isn't a colourway name. If I remember rightly, I bought this at the Country House Retreat when Emma was vending there, and I think we may have decided this was called TARDIS, this blue. Yes, so anyway, those are another little gift knit in progress, and I really need to get cracking on those. Get the heel on, get the foot done. But do you know what? Oh, I know you have to get the gifts done, and that they will. And Justin's dad is so knit worthy. He loves his hand knit socks that I make him. But navy blue socks, when I've got all those other pretty things to be knitting on, it's a real struggle. And I feel a bit bad that it's a struggle to do them, but I just need to, I think once I've got one done, it won't be so bad. But yeah, it's not thrilling me, you know, in the excitement stakes. But there you go. It's not all about me, is it? It's about Christmas time and making things for people that you love. So I think that's all there's some more whips in here in my lovely Sandy by the Lakeside bag, but I'm going to keep those secret for now. Right, I've been chatting away for quite a long time. It's nearly 40 minutes according to my camera. And I'm going to move on now to, shall we do the winners for the knit along? Let's do that. That's a bit more exciting, isn't it? So the Boyland along was a knit along, started way back in the summer, and it was all about knitting any of Caitlin Hunter's fabulous Boyland Knitworks patterns. So I did the little cabin, which I showed you a few moments ago, and I did a tenure, and there were so many fabulous finished objects in the thread on Ravelry. There were tenures and little cabins and all manner of just fabulous finished objects. I was really thrilled at how many of you had taken part and finished your items and put them in the thread, and just how amazing they all were. And the chatter thread was really lively too, so it was just all round a great experience, and thank you all for taking part in that. Now I did have some beautiful prizes that were donated, and they're probably a distant memory to you all now because I showed these way back when, but they've been sitting patiently in the prize basket waiting, and now I have got the winners here to tell you. So we had 6 prizes in total, so I decided to choose 2 winners from the chat thread and 4 from the finished objects thread, and they've all been chosen by random number generator, and I will pop your names on the screen and hopefully I get all the names right. But before I tell you who the winners are, I just wanted to thank everybody that took part in whatever shape or form. If you didn't get something finished but you chatted, or you might have got a couple of things finished and you might have chatted loads or a little, it was all just really, really lovely to see, so thank you. Okay, get on with it, Nicola. The 2 winners from the chat thread are the first ones, and there were 208 posts in that thread. Obviously the first was mine, so I drew from number 2 to 208, and the first winner, which is for this beautiful skein of Ducky Darlings yarn from Hayley, and that's in the Rust Bucket colourway, and the winner of this from the chat thread is Peg MCC, and that's Peggy from the USA. So congratulations, Peggy. Let me know your mailing details and I'll get this sent out to you as soon as I can, and you can do that on Ravelry messages probably, or Instagram message is the best way to get hold of me. The next winner from the chat thread is post number 1. Did I say Peggy's post? That was 75, apologies. The next one was post number 142, and that was Lilon, and that's Lilo from Sweden. Congratulations, and you've won the beautiful So Sweet Violet candle, and that is her Violets and Roses soy candle, and I believe this is the large one. This was donated to us by Jules, so thank you, Jules. That's a beautiful prize. Comes in this lovely little drawstring bag as well. So again, Lilo, if you can let me know your address details and I will get your prize over to Sweden very, very quickly. Okay, so there are 4 winners from the finished objects thread, and the first winner knitted a beautiful little cabin sweater. I really admired it and it looked much better executed than mine, and that was post number 10, and that's UK knitter Sam, and that's Sam and she's in the UK. And Sam, you have won this beautiful project bag which was donated by my lovely friend Paula of Eva Faith Shop, and you can see she's got this gorgeous crochet zip pull here, a crochet flower, beautiful button, which if I know Paula probably came from the textile garden, her own little branding button there, and if I remember rightly, inside here, yes I do remember rightly, there are, because I really wanted these for myself, Sam, so, but willpower, so I saved them for you, this gorgeous set of stitch markers with the sparkly bee and the little gold stitch markers. So that's all from Paula at Eva Faith Shop on Etsy. So thank you, Paula, and congratulations, Sam. Again, if you can let me know your address and I'll get your beautiful project bag on its way to you. The next winner is post number 14, and that was a beautiful tenure knitted by Christina, and that's Christina Duarte from Portugal. And Christina, you have won a gorgeous skein of Ducky Darlings yarn in the colourway Belly Laugh. This is a gorgeous peach with some flecks of rusts and greys, absolutely stunning. And Christina also donated a prize to the knit along, so I'm really pleased that you've won a prize as well, Christina. So let me know your address, just refresh me on my memory with your address and I'll get your yarn across to you. Getting through these now, aren't we? There are 2 more though to announce. The next one was another tenure. So tenure was a really, really popular design of Caitlin's that you all like knitting, and it was post number 8, and that is Panushka from Hungary. And Panushka, you've won, in here is the bag that Christina made and donated to the knit along, and I haven't unwrapped it because it's beautifully wrapped, but it is one of these gorgeous fox project bags, and I believe it's got the little fox progress keeper as I showed you earlier on my socks. So that is stunning. I use mine all the time. So pretty. It's lined with a lovely fabric, and it's got Christina's little label from her Etsy shop, which I believe is Entrelinas. But I will pop details on the screen here as well. So congratulations, Panushka. If you can let me know your address details, I'll get that sent out to you as well. And the final prize from the finished object thread was a Birkin sweater. And any of you that are familiar with Birkin, I've knitted one. That is a labour of love. The colour work on that yoke is a labour of love. So that was post number 23, and it is Ravel user Monko Bilanska from Poland. I don't know your name, but it's Monko Bilanska. I'll put it on the screen here. And you've won a beautiful project bag, which is in here. And this was donated by the lovely Eva of Coco and Flora. And it's this gorgeous retro floral with the canvas. And it's got a lovely little gold pull on the zip. And all fully lined with a lovely pocket. And there's Eva's Coco and Flora label there. So thank you, Eva, for donating that. Really appreciated. Your bags are beautiful. And Eva's got a podcast, I believe, and also her Etsy shop. So I'm going to pop details on the screen for you. So Monko Bilanska in Poland, if you can let me know your address, name and address details, and I'll get your bag posted out to you as well. So congratulations to all our winners. Many thanks to everyone, that all the makers that donated prizes. It's been such good fun, and I won't be doing a knit along for a little while. I think probably well into the new year before we do another knit along. So that's a really nice way to sort of end the year with such fab prizes and such worthy winners. Okay, I need to skip along to my acquisitions section now, and there's quite a few things, so you have to bear with me. Let me grab my basket and then you'll see what I mean. Oh, that was an attractive noise, wasn't it? Okay, I'm not going to dwell on these things for too long, just enough to share them with you. And there's a couple of things which I'm going to leave out actually because of time. Okay, so I'll share the things from Ali Pally from the Knitting and Stitching Show first. And I didn't buy any yarn, not one skein, no yarn at all. I decided that I am an embroiderer, even though I have never done any embroidery other than cross stitch. I decided that I was doing embroidery and I was buying all the things related to it. I'm going to qualify that by showing you something. It's living in my lovely little bag that Stuart gave me at the country house retreat that has my name on it and is fabulous. I'm going to show you my embroidery efforts, and if anyone's laughing, I'll know. It's really not good. Can you see how really not good it is? I don't know if it's a combination of, I mean, if you look at that lazy daisy at the top there, I don't know if it's because the mark of the design on this green linen is so bold, and I'm so obsessed with not seeing the outline that I don't know if it's that. I don't know what it is, but this was supposed to be a practice piece and it's all but put me off, but I'm resilient if anything, and I am going to keep trying with embroidery because I love what everybody else does and I really want to succeed at it. But let me share with you some of the things I bought at the show. Excuse me. Okay, there's quite a lot of crinkling going on in here. So the first things I bought were these couple of drop cloth sampler kits, and I've seen these on Instagram and really admired them. And they are, as the name suggests, they're sort of like sampler style. I'm not going to get everything out because we'll be here all day, but this colour wheel I really like. I thought that looked nice presented, sort of displayed in the hoop. and this one's more of a traditional sort of sampler style. So I bought those and an assortment of these threads, because that's what I was reading on the Drop Cloth website, and it's these, what are they, DMC number 8 pearl. So I bought a selection of those. I also bought a rather fancy Liberty fabric covered embroidery hoop. The plan being that I would, you can either use this, I think they're intended for displaying your finished work in, because they are just so beautiful, and they had so many. I'm trying to find the, here it is. It is Happy Hoopla Embroidery, and they're on Etsy, and they've got loads and loads of different sizes and designs. So do check them out, because they're so pretty, and I thought it was just so unusual to find something like, I know you can cover your hoops with fabric yourself, but the fact that it's already done. So you can use them for actually, you know, doing your work or displaying your work afterwards. So that was a real happy find. The next thing I bought was a kit, which is this one here. The threads are all linen, and the design is this here. And this was all, these are all from Swedish archive embroidery designs. The lady was telling me on the stall at Ali Pali. So, and they're absolutely gorgeous when they're worked up. So you can see the bigger picture there. So I thought on the linen it would make a really nice sort of cushion cover or something like that. And that lady was the one who kindly gave me the little green, dark green sample that I'm just working as a practice piece. So, but the fact that this is white on the linen, I think is not quite as stark. But I really need to practice my embroidery and covering up the markings of the pattern, and just generally getting better, really. I'm trying to think what else I got at Ali Pali. Mum bought her kit. Oh, I also bought a couple of books. One was this Essential Sweaters. This was on the Rowan stand, because this particular design was on the stand and Mum and I really, really liked it. It sort of crosses over at the sides, almost like poncho style, but it is a proper sweater. So that was in here. Just going to see if I can find it. But there's lots. So here it is inside the, where is it? Oh, I should have put a bookmark in. But there's lots of lovely sweaters in here. Here it is. It's called Amber. It's a really nice big cosy sweater. I think it's knit in Rowan felted tweed. But you can see there's lots of really nice sweaters in here. So Mum actually bought that because she quite fancies me knitting this for her. And the other thing I picked up while I was on the Rowan stand is this beautiful hardback book, which has got, it's to celebrate 40 years of Rowan. And it was something ridiculous like £20, and it's an absolutely beautiful book. You can see it's a lovely hardback, sort of like a coffee table book. I don't know if I'll knit from it, although there are lots of lovely patterns in it, but it's just one of those books that you would pick up and have a look at. It's got some stunning patterns in here, and I couldn't believe how cheap it was really for £20. And it's got, believe it or not, if I can find it, can I find it? And it's got Lydia in there, the pattern I was talking about on the last episode. So just to have those lovely images of that pattern, I was thrilled to have this book. And it's nice, this is a Marie Wallin pattern, which I think is gorgeous as well, lovely colour work. And all the patterns are in here, so I couldn't really leave that behind. So I think that was everything from the knitting and stitching show. Yeah, I think it probably was. One thing, oh, is there anything else from there? No, there isn't. That's everything. I'll just quickly show you a couple of things I bought from the quilting show at Duxford, and I think this is going to be super handy. This is a block lock ruler for doing half square triangles, which I picked up there. And I'm really glad I did, because I was watching, whose podcast was I watching? I think it was Amy of Stranded. I was watching her podcast. She's making a quilt at the moment, and she mentioned these rulers and said that you have to get them sent over from the States. So the fact that they were at the Quilt Show, I'm really glad that I picked one up. So that will come in handy at some point. I also visited Kim Porter. I think her company's called Worn and Washed Fabrics. And I bought 2 kits from her. This is a log cabin cushion cover kit. All these beautiful fabrics which are reclaimed, sort of vintage and sort of, as the name suggests, worn and washed fabrics. So I bought that. And also this kit here, which is, it was sort of like a lap quilt. Makes a 40 by 40 inch quilt, and it's all the sort of neutrals. Really, really pretty. So I bought that one as well at the quilting show, and a couple of other, just some thread and some wadding for my Christmas quilt and stuff like that. So that was really good. Okay, and just a couple of other random purchases. Well, they're so not random, they're beautiful. But along with my lovely bag that I showed my Starflake shawl in from Susie at Elderflower Stitches, I got this set of minis, which is the point shoes. And look at the Progress Keeper. Aren't they just beautiful? So, so pretty. And these lovely gradient set of minis, going through all the soft nudes and peaches. Don't know what these are going to be yet, but absolutely had to have them. And Susie and I did a little swap, so we're going to open up each other's swap parcels, I think at the beginning of December, kind of as like an advent treat. And I did also treat myself to one of Susie's advent sort of notion advent sets. So it's all exciting times. Last bit of goodness out of this basket is a bit crinkly, so forgive me. And these are from Deborah at Candy Shop Yarns, who very sadly but understandably is closing her yarn shop. Candy Shop Yarns is closing at the end of this year, I believe. And I bought from her the Jolly Holiday collection of minis, which are absolutely stunning. And I have to be completely honest, as stunning as the yarn is, these absolutely stole my heart. These are the Jolly Holiday charms from, I think it's Amanda at Little Bitty Delights, and they are the Bert and Mary cupcake charms, Progress Keepers. So just absolutely was obsessed with these, and when she said she was closing, I thought, I have to get them. So I treated myself to those, and also these absolutely gorgeous County Fair minis. Is it County Fair? Yeah, County Fair rides. And these minis on her simple syrup base. So all these gorgeous, these are going to be scrappy socks or something similar. Probably, yeah, probably scrappy socks. I'm just obsessed with these minis. They're so, so pretty, and the whole branding and everything. So yeah, those are from Deborah at Candy Shop. So those are my acquisitions. I'm going to quickly check on the notes to see where we are, because then we need to wrap this podcast up. No, I can't find my notes because they're underneath all the acquisitions. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly tell you a little bit about my plans for Vlogmas, in case you wanted to join me in December. As I mentioned, I do work full-time, so there are going to be some days where it would be really boring and tedious for you to be following me around my work day. So I'm either planning to pre-record some little sort of little vlogmases in advance and put them up on boring work days, or I may do like a few days at a time. Rather than putting up an episode of Vlogmas every single day, it might be that I do one that covers sort of 2 or 3 days, so there's some interesting content in there for you. But I have been thinking about what I'm going to do, and I've got a few little crafty plans that I'm going to share with you during the course of my Vlogmas videos. So I've got some makes that I want to, even if I'm not going to get them all finished, I know that, but even if I just share a little bit of the sort of the process with you. So I've got my Christmas quilt that I will be sharing on Vlogmas. I've got a wreath to make, an indoor Christmas wreath that I'm going to be making. There's a couple of little tree decorations that I'm going to be making as well. Some are needle felted and some are other little sort of crafty makes. It's not all knitting. There is something I'm so excited about, is a knitted deer head. Have I got the thing here for you? I'll give you a real quick sneak peek, which is this. And I've got all the goodies are ready to go in this bag. So I'm going to be doing that during Vlogmas. And the other thing that I have got is there's an embroidery as well. Ha! An embroidery. That's going to be funny. So that'll be the day when we're all fed up and we need a laugh. You can watch me attempting some embroidery on Vlogmas. But hopefully you will join me for some of those episodes, because I'm really looking forward to doing it. And it probably won't be as slick and professional as some of the other more seasoned Vlogmasers out there, but I'm really looking forward to giving it a go. So if you do fancy joining me and cheering me along, that would be very welcome. Okay, so I think I've covered everything that I wanted to today. I can have a good old tidy up, get prepared, and I will see you at the beginning of December. In the meantime, take care. Bye.